John Wilson, Chairman of the TPT Partnership, and I'm here with my dog Belle today in Oxspring. Hopefully the weather's going to keep good and we're going to walk from Oxspring to Wortley. I've been told it's about 3.5 miles, but if we keep going backwards and forwards with Belle, it may be longer. So here we go, we're on our way. Okay, we're just going up the reasonably steep ramp to get to the old bridge, and then we're going to get started. It's a bit breezy today, but the dog's in front leading. Hopefully she knows the way. Come on. We're just going through the A-frame access barrier. Okay. Right, and we're going to go left. Hopefully we'll see lots of people, other dogs, cyclists, who knows. We may ask a few people how they're going on and why they're on the trail. Hopefully there'll be lots of people to see. When we start here at Oxspring, we've got a nice flat straight piece here, so you can do a nice little walk. You don't have to go too far, there's no incline, and the dog's now lingering. Come on! Beautiful spring morning, and actually some lovely little flowers. I have no idea what they are. There seems to be a lot of them. Yeah. Interestingly, at this part of the trail, it's in quite a deep culvert, and although it's a windy day, it's lovely and sheltered down here. And as we've started fairly early, it's lovely and quiet. I can just hear all the birds singing. I think on my new phone I can tell what the birds are, but I know what some of them are. I can hear some blue tits. That's a robin. It's gone quiet now. I can hear some building work going in the background. Something's reversing. And Belle's striding forward. She knows the way. Like most pet dogs, they lead the way. As we're going along, there's some fantastic spring flowering trees. I think that one's a cherry, and I suspect that's probably come out of somebody's garden. I'll be surprised if that's been there very long. It looks quite a nice young tree, but at this time of the year, beautiful blossom on that. Morning. And our first clump of beautiful spring bluebells. They've probably come out of somebody's garden too. They do spread quite a lot, so we'll probably see lots of those on our walk. Morning. Hello. Okay, we're still in Oxspring, and here is another access to the trail, but obviously you have to be pretty agile to do that, and in wet weather these can be quite slippery, but it does allow you to get up to the main road there and into the centre of Oxspring, which is quite a nice little village. You've got a little shop there and a couple of nice pubs, so well worth a trip up. Lunchtime for a pint, that'd be good. Now there's a old tree there being felled. At some parts of the trail we've made sculptures out of them, but that one's waiting for an artist, I think, isn't it? That's waiting for someone to hack at it. I'm surprised how quiet it is today. It's apart from the birds, which Belle isn't particularly bothered about, though she's not keen on pigeons. You're not keen on pigeons, are you, Belle? Well, as we're just walking along now, we've got the really pungent smell of rapeseed. And of course, farmers nowadays, you can often see huge fields full of rapeseed now. We've sadly got rid of quite a lot of hedgerow, but it is quite a sight to see. And in the sunshine, it really seems to glow a vivid colour. But it doesn't smell very nice. Well, we've done about 1 kilometre now, and the surface is really good quality, nice and firm, no potholes, no puddles, and we've reached our first bench. So for the weary traveller, we can have a couple of minutes here, and we've got a beautiful view of the field stretching for quite a few miles actually from here. It opens up between the trees and we can see the rapeseed going over the hilltop there, but the dog seems to want to crack on. And of course all these benches are marked on the maps on the TPT website, so you know exactly where they all are. And we've got quite an interesting post here. I'm not sure. It's got various markings on. It's got the trail sign, and I'm looking at it the wrong way around, and it says the Transpennine Trail, and it tells me it is 5 kilometres to Wortley, and on the other side it tells me we're 1 kilometre to Oxspring, so we know exactly where we are. We've reached our information board here now for Oxspring, walks in the parish of Oxspring. Now I do know from experience that Oxspring always do an annual ward boundary walk, which is probably on this map. Lots of information there, local things to see, and we've got an access point here. Again, you need to be quite chipper to go down it. It's certainly not wheelchair accessible, but you can get onto the farm track and then follow the footpath to Blackmore and Dean Head. So there we are, all nicely signposted for us. Good morning. Are you walking far?
Far enough.
Far enough. Far enough until you're tired.
Not too far.
Oh, the nearest pub. Okay. This is an interesting little piece of kit. It's a solar powered counter. Barnsley Council have put this in. It detects walkers, cyclists, wheelers, and at the top of the pole, very interestingly, there's a little detector for horse riders. So an interesting self-contained little thing. Get lots of information from that for the TPT as to what's going on the trail. I best not walk past it too many times, or it'll be clocking me like a big crowd. And we're also coming to a double access point, which I'm getting a little disorientated now because we've been walking on the trail through the woods and I'm not sure what this road is. I think it's just somebody's farm path actually, but nice property here. Not been down this part of the trail before, and Belle's still happily trotting along. We have a horse step over here, and interestingly I see a little sign here that's put up by the Police and Crime Commissioner. It was funded by them, and it's warning that motorcyclists are prohibited. It looks like Barnsley Rights of Way have been putting some new trees in here and protected from the squirrels, so hopefully they'll take. That'll be a really nice avenue of trees here. Now we've coming up to a fellow dog walker here. That's to watch my dog with the two. Good morning. Hi. You all right? Are you friendly? Yeah. Hello. Good tail wag. That's encouraging. Morning. Morning.
Thank you.
Whoop. Okay, we've been going just over a mile now, and it's been pretty level, accessible. Now we've just come across a little temporary chalk on the trail here, which is saying that it's the Cubs finishing line, so it's nice to see that the trail's being used by the local Cubs. The start may well be somewhere where we're heading, so it'd be interesting to see how far the Cubs actually ran or walked. We may come across it. This access point leads up to a very nice picnic area off the trail, so it's worth, if you've got your sandwiches, pop up there and use the benches. Next bench, Belle, we're going to have a drink of water. We've just found our second bench now and we're having a little sit down. Belle's had a drink of water, and there's a mile marker here saying it's 2.7 kilometres to Wortley, so we've still got quite a bit to do, but we're really enjoying it, and the sun is still out and shining. It may be time for a doggy biscuit as well. I'm quite partial to them. Come on. Right, we're just going over a viaduct, and I understand it's called Romticle or Romticle, depending on whereabouts in Yorkshire you are. It doesn't look very much from the trail, but there was a a little access point off to the right, and it's quite a spectacular structure built by Joseph Locke in 1844. And of course he's got his statue in Barnsley in Lock Park. It looks to be made of good Yorkshire stone. That's why it's survived so long. And the views from each side of the bridge, the viaduct, are absolutely stunning. You could see for miles. It must have been lovely to come over here on a train and look out over this height. It's quite spectacular. But quite breezy up here though. Now it looks like we're approaching the Thurgoland Tunnel, which I understand is 282 metres long, and I hope there's some lights in there, because it'd be pretty dark if we went in with no lights. But I am assured it is lit, and I have never been in this tunnel, and I understand it's got some excellent acoustics, and I might give it a try. You might get a little song, you never know. It looks like now, just before entrance to the tunnel, there's an access point to Roper House Lane. Quite a nice little incline there. Looks suitably accessible for everybody. Okay, we're going into the tunnel in a minute. Get ready, Belle. Interestingly, just before the tunnel we have two access points. One I've mentioned already, which is definitely wheelchair accessible, and the one to the right hand side of the tunnel is quite a lot of steps up, but that's two here just before we go into the tunnel. Just outside the tunnel we've got another bench. That'll be our third bench, but we don't need it this time, do we, Belle? We're just entering the tunnel now. It'll be interesting to see how good the acoustics are. La 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 la. Ah, pretty good. La 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 la. Okay, Belle, here we go. One man and his dog went to walk the trail. One man and his dog went to walk the trail. Woof, woof, woof. When you're in the middle of the tunnel, the acoustics are kind of going backwards and forwards. Come on, Belle. We're not staying in here too long. I wonder if there are any bats in here. And strangely enough, the tunnel has a curve to it. So when you first come into the tunnel, you cannot see the exit, whereas now it's coming into sight. Right, the tunnel has been quite cold down here, and now we're coming out into the nice spring sunshine. So that was quite a treat walking through that tunnel. I don't think I've ever, and for good reason, never walked through a railway tunnel. So that was really something. Yeah, I enjoyed that, and the acoustics, they were pretty good too. And it's really interesting now we've come through the tunnel. The beautiful rock that they've had to chisel through to make that tunnel. I wonder how long it took them to make the tunnel. In fact, I can see a face there. That looks like one of those Easter Island type. I wonder if anybody spotted that. So now we've come out of the tunnel, it's onwards to Wortley. I reckon we're a good halfway now. We've just spotted something that's been chalked onto the wall. It says, "Cubs pause, listen to the birds." Right, we're almost 3/4 of the way through our walk now, and we've reached our fourth bench. So there's plenty of places to sit and recover. When we've come out of the tunnel, a couple of 100 yards down to the right, there's a concrete reinforcement. Obviously the land must have been slipping at some point, and if you look really carefully, there's some huge art mural on the wall, and you can just make out a face. It's all covered over with moss, but there's quite a lot of mural underneath there. It will be interesting to see. It looks like it extends quite a long way along all this concrete structure. Morning. And for the foragers amongst us, I've just noticed there's some edible garlic mustard here just by outside the tunnel, and I'm just going to have a little rub of the leaves, and yeah, it's quite pungent, that. I'm not sure what recipe you put that in, but yeah, I can definitely smell. That's really interesting, and there's lots of it. This part of the trail now we're on is quite wide. It has a designated section for horse riders, which is kind of a little bit more softer, and you can see all the horse hooves in it, the hoof prints. At this time of the year, it's interesting, the trees aren't in full leaf, they're just showing green now, and of course you can see far more of the surrounding scenery in either direction on the trail, and it gives you a sense of how vast some of the sort of woodland is to the side of us on both sides of the trail. More cubs activity now, folks. Cubs must pause and count the sheep. Well, I'm not going to do that because I would fall asleep, I think, and there are quite a lot of sheep there. Trouble is, they're moving about. It must be very hard to count them. The sun's shining brightly, people, and the blossom is just fluttering out of the trees, which is lovely. We've just come over Coat Lane and we've reached an access point here. Morning! And we've got a really nice picnic area here, and there's some activity for the children to climb about. And then I notice on a bench here there's some braille giving instructions for how far it is to Penistone and to Thurgoland and Wortley. Very interesting there, actually fastened to the bench. Not on the trail itself, but a point of interest just behind and to the left of the picnic area by Coat Lane is some really interesting sculptures at the equestrian centre there, so maybe worth a look if you're passing. Right, we've come across another bench now, but we don't need to sit down, we're pressing on. Another couple of benches and we're now 2 kilometres from Wortley. Come on, Belle. We've now reached a point of the trail where it's quite open and some fabulous views to the right, and I can just see in the distance Wortley Top Forge, and I can see the water there that drove the mighty wheel, and that's well worth a visit. It's open to the public and it's run by enthusiasts. It's a fantastic day out. There's a little steam railway for the children to play on. It is really good day out. Check on the website though for opening times. We've now left the wider part of the trail, and the going is now just a dirt track, a little bit narrower. Lots of bird song down here, and we're in quite a nice sheltered part. The sun's still shining. It's a lovely day. We've now reached quite a muddy part of the trail. It's very sheltered down here. Obviously quite a lot of water runoff, and it is quite muddy here compared to the rest of the trail. Go on, keep going, Belle. Right, we've come to the end of our digital trail walk now. We've just passed the Barnsley counter and we're just going up the access point now. I think we've really enjoyed it, and we're just going for some lunch now. It's took us just over an hour and a half, and we've covered probably just shy of 4 miles there. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and look out for the next digital trail. Remember, every time you go on the trail, the weather can always be different. The fauna and wildlife you see is changing all the time. So come along and really enjoy.